What if the true villain of Stranger Things was never the Demogorgon, never the Mind Flayer, and not even Vecna, but trauma itself? From the very first episode, the show tells us it's about monsters from another dimension. But quietly, underneath all the horror and spectacle, it's been telling a much darker and more human story. A story that begins, and never truly ends, with one boy, Will Byers. When Will disappears in season 1, it doesn't feel like a typical sci-fi mystery. The show immediately grounds his vanishing in fear, panic, and helplessness. This moment becomes ground zero for the entire series. And even when Will is rescued, the damage is already done. His return isn't a resolution. It's the beginning of a long psychological aftermath that defines the tone of Stranger Things from that point forward. What makes Will's trauma so important is that it never stays contained within him. It spreads. His disappearance pulls Hawkins into the Upside Down before anyone even knows what it is. The town's innocence fractures, families unravel, and the idea that the world is safe quietly dies. From this moment on, the Upside Down isn't just a place. It's a lingering presence, attached directly to Will's mind and body. That connection becomes terrifyingly clear when Will returns with psychic scars. His bond with the Mind Flayer isn't just possession, it's sensory invasion. He feels cold when it's near, he sees visions others can't. His body becomes an early warning system for an evil that has no face yet. And through Will, the show reframes its horror. The Upside Down stops being an abstract threat and becomes something personal, invasive, and psychological. Evil isn't just attacking Hawkins, it's living inside a child. This is where Stranger Things quietly shifts genres. It stops being only a monster show and becomes a story about living with trauma. Will isn't just a vessel or a plot device. His fear, confusion, and isolation make the supernatural feel disturbingly real. The horror works because it mirrors real psychological pain, panic attacks, PTSD, and the feeling that something inside you never truly left. Will also becomes the emotional anchor of the entire series. Everything pulls toward him. Joyce's relentless determination, Jonathan's protective instincts, and Mike's emotional loyalty all orbit around Will's survival. The audience isn't just afraid of the Upside Down, they're afraid of what it might do to Will next. That fear sustains engagement across seasons because his safety represents hope itself. If Will can survive, maybe Hawkins can too. Heroism in Stranger Things is often defined by who is willing to stand between Will and the darkness. Characters grow braver because of him. Friendships deepen because of him. The group doesn't fight monsters for glory. They fight to protect the most vulnerable among them. And that choice shapes every arc in the show. As the mythology expands, one thing becomes clear. The most terrifying part of the Upside Down isn't its creatures. It's the psychological toll. Through Will, the show explores themes of lost childhood, identity, and scars that don't fade just because the threat retreats. Even when Vecna emerges as the ultimate villain, he feels like an extension of something that began with Will's trauma, not a replacement for it. Vecna understands pain because he is built from it, and that's why his connection to Will feels inevitable, not random. Will represents the emotional opposite of Vecna, someone who is broken but chose connection instead of domination. That contrast is the heart of the final conflict, not good versus evil, but empathy versus control. Will Byers isn't just part of Stranger Things. He is its narrative fulcrum. His suffering reshaped Hawkins, redefined the stakes, and turned a monster story into a psychological mythology. Even now, as the series approaches its end, his connection to the Upside Down ensures that the story can't be resolved with brute force alone. So here's the question the show has been asking since season 1. If trauma created this darkness, can understanding it be the only way to end it? And when the final confrontation comes, will Will's past finally make him the key or the final target?